So it's a normal beach day in Australia. Sun out, surfers vibing, everybody pretending they're in a travel commercial. Nothing unusual. Until a scream. A girl gets knocked off her surfboard. At first, people probably thought, oh, she wiped out. Then they see the fin. And not the friendly dolphin kind, the National Geographic intro music just started kind. Water starts thrashing. There's blood. People freeze. And that freeze is real. Because when something that crazy happens, your brain literally needs a second to load the situation. Except her boyfriend doesn't freeze. This man sees a shark attacking his girlfriend and paddles toward it. Now let's pause right there. Because I don't know about you, but if I see a shark, I'm respectfully exiting the ocean and reevaluating every life choice that led me there. But this guy? No hesitation. No dramatic speech. Just straight into the danger. He reaches her. The shark is still there, and he starts punching it. Not splashing aggressively, punching. A shark, like it owes him money. And somehow, the shark lets go. He gets her onto the board and drags her back to shore. She survives. Now here's the thing. Was that logical? Absolutely not. Was that heroic? Absolutely yes. Because sometimes love overrides survival instincts. And sometimes survival instincts apparently respond well to being punched in the face. That's the kind of insane confidence I'm talking about. This man woke up that morning thinking it was a regular surf day. He went home knowing he squared up with an apex predator and won. And honestly, that's different. The subway guy. New York subway platform. Regular chaos. People minding their business, headphones in, nobody making eye contact because that's the unspoken rule. Then a man collapses and falls onto the tracks. Now, falling on subway tracks is already terrifying, but what makes this worse is that headlights appear in the tunnel almost immediately. Train coming. Fast. The guy on the tracks is disoriented, trying to stand up, but there's no time. The crowd is screaming. You can hear the horn. And here's the thing about moments like that. Most people freeze. Except one construction worker. Wesley Autry. He looks at the man, looks at the train, looks at the man, looks at the train, looks at the man, looks at the train, and realizes he cannot pull him up in time. So instead of trying the impossible, he does something nobody expects. He jumps down, presses the man flat into the narrow trench between the rails, and lays on top of him. Yes, he voluntarily chose to lie under an oncoming train, and the train passes over them, inches above their bodies, and they survive. That wasn't strength. That wasn't luck. That was insane presence of mind. Because in pure chaos, he didn't panic. He calculated. And that's the difference between a hero and the rest of us just screaming on the platform. The baby drop. Middle of the night. Apartment building on fire. Smoke pouring out windows, flames climbing walls. The kind of fire where you already know this is going to be on the news. A mother is trapped on the third floor with her baby. Firefighters are trying to reach her, but the fire is spreading fast. She has seconds. Below her, a small crowd forming. And then she does the only thing she can do. She drops the baby. Let's just acknowledge how terrifying that decision is. That's not a casual toss. That's a "I trust humanity right now" moment. The baby falls, and one man steps forward and catches it. Clean. Not a juggle, not a panic grab, a clean catch. I can barely catch a key someone throws at me. This man caught a whole human being falling from a burning building. The baby survives. The mother is rescued shortly after. And that random guy? He woke up that day expecting absolutely nothing special, and ended up with the most stressful reflex test in history. The frozen lake guy. It's winter. Kids playing on a frozen lake because ice always looks trustworthy, until it isn't. The ice cracks. One kid drops straight through into freezing water. Now, freezing water doesn't give you a polite warning. It steals your breath immediately. You've got maybe a few minutes before things go very bad. Adults are panicking on the shore. One man doesn't hesitate. He runs onto the ice, spreads his weight, starts smashing through it with his hands, trying to reach the kid under the surface. The water is near 0 degrees. I complain when my shower isn't emotionally supportive. This man went elbow deep into Arctic death water. He can't see the kid clearly. He's reaching blindly under broken ice, hoping he grabs something. Finally, jacket. He pulls him out. Unconscious, not breathing. CPR starts immediately. And after what probably felt like the longest few seconds of everyone's life, the kid coughs. He survives. The rescuer nearly gets hypothermia himself, because sometimes being a hero means you risk becoming a frozen burrito for someone else. Different level of commitment. The plane crash rescue on the Hudson River. So imagine you're on a commercial flight. Normal day, snacks mid, people arguing over armrests, nothing dramatic. Then, boom, a loud bang. Both engines fail. Not one, both. Because the plane just flew through a flock of birds. Now here's the problem. You are thousands of feet in the air, with no engines, and your pilot calmly says they're going to attempt an emergency landing. Attempt. Now, this isn't an airport situation. This is Manhattan. Buildings, traffic, no runway. So the pilot makes a decision that sounds insane. He's going to land the plane on the Hudson River. Yes, on water. In January. Freezing January. The plane glides down between skyscrapers like it's threading a needle. People on the ground are staring up like... It hits the water, hard, but controlled, and somehow it doesn't break apart. Now here's where it gets crazy. Passengers are standing on the wings, in freezing water, in the middle of a river, in New York. Ferries nearby see what just happened, and these ferry captains don't hesitate. They rush toward the plane, pull passengers off the wings one by one. Freezing wind, freezing water, people in shock. Every single passenger survives. Every single one. First of all, imagine boarding a regular flight and ending up standing on a plane wing like you're in an action movie you did not audition for. Second of all, shout out to the pilot because that landing? Different. The cliff rescue. A woman hiking on a mountain trail slips and ends up dangling off a cliff, hundreds of feet down. She's holding onto rock that's slowly giving way. Rescue teams arrive, but there's no safe path down to her, so they bring in a helicopter. Now here's where it gets crazy. Helicopter wind on a cliff edge is chaos. Dust flying, rocks shifting, everything unstable. A rescuer lowers down on a rope. He's swinging in the air trying to reach her while the wind is basically saying, "Not today." He finally grabs her harness, locks it in, signals up, and they're pulled away from the cliff face, spinning slightly in the air before being lifted to safety. Imagine hanging over open air and seeing someone descend from the sky like that. That's not just skill, that's composure. Because one mistake up there, it's not embarrassing, it's permanent, and they nailed it. All right, those were 6 of the most insane rescues ever. People who woke up thinking it would be a normal day and ended up doing something movie-level heroic. Now, hopefully you learned something today, and if you didn't, at the very least you learned that if a shark attacks your girlfriend, apparently the correct response is to punch it in the face. I personally will not be testing that strategy, but shout out to the guy who did. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, because this taco is just getting started.